Hi, I'm Sam Coulter, and I'm from Business 224 Human Relations. I'm going to be talking about Google's HR practices and why their practices have caused Google to be one of the top best places to work at, according to Fortune 500. In this video, I'm going to be going over Google's 4 practices that it uses in HR management. The first being the strategy used in recruitment, the second being how they are preventing retention with employees, the third being how employees are being trained, and the fourth being the assessment of employees. In Google's recruitment strategy, they use both internal and external methods to recruit employees. In their internal practices, Google will work by promoting employees, transferring employees from different departments, and accepting interns as full-time employees. In their external recruitment practices, Google also works with colleges and high schools in recruiting students at a young age to work with them, as well as posting job advertisements on their main webpage for those who are interested in working at a job at Google. To learn more about internships and job opportunities at Google, you can go to Google/students and learn about internships for students and job opportunities for new graduates. If you're interested, you can also watch a video meeting real summer interns and seeing about their first week at Google. In Google's low retention prevention practices, Google uses incentives to encourage employees to stay with the company. These incentives include high salaries and wages, free meals, and a positive atmosphere. When making the atmosphere enjoyable for employees, Google focuses on 2 points. The first point is making a teamwork atmosphere. This means having employees work together and not separately, and having them lead each other instead of one leading the group. They also focus on having a fun factor while at work to keep employees enjoying their jobs. This includes having unique furniture and having slides inside and other fun factors to make employees have an enjoyable time while at work. In Google's employee training practices, the former vice president of people at Google, Laszlo Boks, came up with a strategy to develop a culture that emphasizes learning. There were 3 steps in this learning process, and the first being to engage in deliberate practices. This means not having the whole entire practice being done at once, but taking small chunks and slowly adding them together, such as in sports, how a coach doesn't teach students by having them go and do a game, but instead take practice in throwing the ball, swinging a baseball bat, and taking the small steps and learning a consistent, repetitive motion to finally be able to do the game. The second step was to have your best people teach. This means that Laszlo found that by having people outside the company come in and try to teach your people, they don't really understand the practices. This leads to people struggling and not being able to give the best information to the employees. That is why he found that it is best to work with people inside the company who are the best at doing what they do. By doing this, employees are able to learn from those who have worked with what they are doing and know what they're doing. The third step is to invest in courses that are needed and will change the employee's behavior. If you just go and throw different types of courses at employees hoping for a change, you're not going to notice anything. You're not going to be able to know what works and what won't. You're also just going to be wasting time and effort in courses that aren't needed. That is why Laszlo found that it is best to invest in the courses that you know are going to change an employee's behavior, and check that it and review and give feedback and learn if it is actually doing, if the courses are actually affecting the employee's behavior and improving their ability to do their job. When assessing employees, Google follows a series of steps. The first step is having managers fill out a form that gives a 5-point scale of how an employee did. This scale goes from 1 being needing improvement to 5 being exceptional. The second step they do is getting feedback from the employee's peers and seeing what other employees are saying about them and how they are doing. The third point they do is having the managers calibrating together and working together to discuss how their employees are doing and what they see in each other's employees, and making sure that they aren't being biased on one another. When you usually are working with an employee, managers can oftentimes have biases and not even realize it. By discussing with another manager, managers can realize if they're having possible biasness and can work on improving these issues, and also being able to give a proper feedback to these employees. The fourth point is making sure that they separate the reviews and the employee's pay. Google wants to show employees to improve, but not have them improve based on their pay, but have them improve based on what they have learned. They don't want an employee's assessment to be based along with their pay, but have them separated to where employees are motivated on their success and not on their pay. In this video, I discussed on Google's HR management practices and let you know their recruitment strategy and their internal and external practices within it. I also discussed the low retention prevention they use and how they give incentives to encourage employees, as well as how they plan on training employees and the strategies they use within. I finally discussed how employees are assessed and the rating, performance, and pay are separated. To learn more about Google's management practices, feel free to follow any of these links that I have shared here.